This podcast may contain adult themes and triggering topics. Please be kind to yourself if you get triggered by what we discuss.
Also, this isn't a substitute for therapy or counseling. Please listen to the appendix at the end for some of our recommendations for resources that will help you find a qualified mental health care provider.
Now, we take you to a time in the near future where emotional abuse has been appropriately deemed a crime, and the survivors find a home to reclaim their lives and freedom. This is Haven, and these are the stories of the Reclaimers.
Pheeny looks confused.
Enough. You need a break.
It can't. I've got to finish the Advo Shadow stuff this week because I've got finals at school next week.
You got finals the week the inquiry starts? How did I not know that?
Pheeny, come on. With all you've got on your plate.
None of that matters as much as you. I'll always be your advocate first and foremost.
Oh, speaking of needing a break.
I'm fine. We're all fine.
Seriously? You're going to try that? She's like a lie detector when it comes to you.
She's also like a super smug,
Oh,
obnoxious...
feisty, Pheeny. Feisty's good. You prefer feisty.
See?
Know it all.
Someone's been spending too much time with Addie.
Or just knows you really well.
Truman, score.
Okay, first of all, if I had known you were going to get this sassy, I never would have accepted your Advo application.
You didn't.
Oh, I may not be the current co-director, but I do have an in with the acting director.
Yeah. Or is it that Truman's got a gift for advocacy?
Definitely that.
A gift, huh? Not sure I'm prepared for compliments like that just yet.
Fair. It's just really good to see you this confident and happy.
I do feel confident. And yeah, there's still moments of overwhelm, days of grieving. It's amazing, though, how accessible the happiness is these days.
Truman, that's just...
Phenomenal.
You deserve it, Truman.
Thanks, Pheeny. And thanks for doing all you did to help me transfer to Georgetown. I really love it there.
Pheeny?
Rose,
Rose.
come in.
Hey, Rose. Good to see you.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Not at all. I need to go study. See you later, Pheeny, Percy, Rose.
It's good to see you too, Truman.
I've got to get back to my stack of senator homework.
No, wait, Percy?
Yes.
Before you go, I just want to say I'm sorry.
Rose, what could you possibly have to say I'm sorry for?
It's my fault.
Your fault?
Yes. I'm the one who didn't tell Pheeny what was going on. If I'd told him instead of Sonia, you wouldn't be dealing with this.
Rosie.
Rose, may I have your permission to use my empathy while we're together today?
Of course. Pheeny, too. I need for both of you to know how sorry I am.
I can feel all that remorse and sorrow.
Yes.
Rose, will you sit down? I'd like to take just a moment to breathe, okay?
Okay, yeah. Breathing. I might know a little bit about that. You advos and your breathing.
Inhale. Exhale. That's really good, Rose. Good. I wanted to take a minute to tell you a story, if that's okay.
Sure.
Thank you. So, Pheeny's gonna let me tell this story because right before you came in, he called me obnoxious.
What? That is awful.
Rosie, you're ganging up on me?
Zip it, friend. I gotta tell Rose a story now. So, back in college, my very favorite friend was a psych major. Me, I was a philosophy major. I was gonna be a hippie like my Grams.
I take it the philosophy major didn't work out.
Thankfully, my favorite friend talked me into taking a psych class with him freshman year. That's where I first met the professor.
Percy, Rosie doesn't need to...
Shh, Phoenix. I want to hear this.
And stop interrupting.
Who was the professor?
His name was Mycroft. He would later go on to be a senator.
Senator Daniels? He's the one leading the inquiry about the Haven, right? I've been keeping up with the news.
And when you read the news, what do you feel?
Guilt.
Rosie, that's...
Pheeny, I haven't finished my story.
All right. I'm not going to stop this, am I?
Nope. Continue, please.
Rose, my favorite friend blames himself for this inquiry. Do you know why?
No. Why?
Because he's the reason I met Mycroft to begin with.
Oh, but it's not his fault.
Isn't it, though?
Really gonna make me defend that?
Now, what kind of philosophy major would I be if I didn't pose a pointless question in response to a common human condition? No, Rose, I'm not going to make you defend it. I'm going to make my favorite friend defend it.
Is Pheeny that favorite friend?
Yes. And he's my favorite because of his big, huge heart.
He deserves to know it's not his fault.
Okay. I think we've taken this far enough.
Nope, not nearly. Not by a long shot. Because this is the Haven. And we don't let abusers have the final say here. Mycroft is moving chess pieces in some twisted game, and the pieces are blaming themselves for being moved. Rosemary, you were terrified. Triggered. You were in danger. And I'm so very glad that you told Sonia what you told her when you told her. Think of the lead time you gave us. I owe you and Sonia a debt of gratitude. I can feel that shift. I think it's time I got out of your way so you two can get started on your session.
Good luck with the inquiry, Percy.
And good luck to you, Rosemary. That beautiful heart of yours deserves to find healing. See you a little later, Pheeny.
I'll be there. Bye.
You've got to tell me if she was being serious.
Serious?
I know those advo tricks. Do you really think the inquiry is your fault? And please tell me she asked you if she could share that.
Yes, she asked in her way. And yes, I've struggled with self-blame.
Oh,
That makes you sad.
I don't like to think of someone like you suffering like that because of an abuser.
I don't like to think of someone like you suffering either, Rosie.
See? Advo tricks.
I admit it, openly. I will use almost whatever non-manipulative means necessary to help you see things clearly.
How do you... is it even possible to stop blaming yourself?
Rosie, Percy started us off. She gave us a great tool. We can use the fantasy tool to try applying this blame to someone else in our situation. Why do you think that works?
Maybe it's that we want to see others more kindly than we do ourselves.
That's the start. It's easier to see things through the lens of reality when those we care about are involved. But what else?
I don't know.
Do you remember our first session?
One in the garden?
Yes. Do you remember what we talked about?
I remember what I tried not to talk about.
I remember that too. Do you remember why you tried not to talk about it?
I felt so ashamed.
And?
I blamed myself.
Should you have blamed yourself?
I don't think so, but it took months to understand that.
So now there's a different abuser and you're blaming yourself for something he started, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Tell me about the feelings you're having right now. There's a bundle there.
There's blame and loss, grief. There's still some shame and regret.
And when we apply the situation to someone else, say your daughter,
I get angry
and what signals does anger send you?
that I need to take action, that my daughter deserves protection.
And you? Do you deserve protection?
I feel like I should say yes.
Why can't you? Why doesn't the anger apply to you?
I don't know how to answer that.
I understand. It's a tough switch from your daughter to yourself.
I feel like I'm doing this all wrong again.
No, and I'm so impressed by your doing the work at all. It's tough to sort out what you're feeling from why you're feeling those feelings. Rosie, I brought up the first session because I want you to remember the first time you told me something difficult. How did you feel afterward?
I still felt ashamed for a while.
And then?
And then I felt like someone gave me permission to be upset that my abuser did that.
Who gave you permission, do you think?
At first, I kind of felt like you did.
At first?
Yeah, and then later, much later, I realized that it was me. I gave me permission to feel everything, even the anger.
So now you're feeling self-blame about Ben. Who could give you permission to forgive yourself?
Oh, me?
Yes. Percy was telling you that story, and I kept thinking, no, don't tell anyone. I don't want anyone to know how I treat myself this way. I'm supposed to be an advocate and have all this figured out, right?
I think you need to breathe for a minute. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Some of your best work.
Thank you. What if we work on this timeline for a moment, okay? Help me get it right. First, your abuser deceives you. How does he do that?
Love bomb. Idealization. Constant flattery, constant attention, constant contact, constant presence.
Why did he do that?
He wanted to get me used to a certain expectation.
And then what happened? What's the next step in the timeline?
He started to pull away, to devalue me, to value our relationship.
How did he do that?
You said it once. It was in the handbook. He made it kind of like being quiet was a punishment.
Weaponized silence.
Right? Silent treatment.
Tell me about the silent treatment. Was there a pattern for when he used it?
Oh, I don't know.
Did he use it when you were happy?
Oh, no. He liked to be near me when I was happy.
What about when he was happy?
No. Wait.
Yes?
He seemed to use it when we were in a fight.
So you'd start fighting and he'd just leave? Was there a part of the fight that usually made him leave?
Oh, dear.
Rosie, the fear, that's incredibly difficult to cope with.
He'd pick a fight, and he'd tell me all the things I was doing wrong, the things that made him feel worse about himself. And it wouldn't matter how much I apologized or asked him to explain or help me understand, he'd leave. And it was my fault.
Rosie, I'm so sorry this happened to you. I'm so sorry he did this.
It just broke me to know I'd hurt him that much. I would have done anything, just anything to stop the hurt.
Rosie, could I offer you a hug?
Yes. I just wanted to be good for him, good to him. I wanted to make it better, but it was never enough. I was never enough. I could never do enough to make it better. Thank you. I just can't feel like I deserve any of this Pheeny sweetness. So awful. It's taken me so long to see the things he did, but what about all the pain I caused him? He wouldn't have been so mad if I hadn't done something to hurt him. Whatever it was, I want to find it and fix it.
Of course you do. I've known you for quite a while now, Rosie, and I've observed you in countless situations just trying to help others feel better. From the times in group sessions to volunteering to sit with the physical assault survivors over in the medical wing, you're so caring, Rosie. When I think of describing you, I start with the word caring.
I do care. At least I want to care, but if I really cared about him, why didn't he get better? Why was he always so upset, so unhappy?
I think those are fair questions.
Wait, you do?
Yeah, and I think we should work on it together.
I thought you were going to do some advo trick thingy and tell me more stuff about caring.
Well, I was. And then I remembered that you were the one who gave yourself permission to feel angry at him. Remember the most important rule of Haven?
Consent?
Right. And consent has two parts. The first is my asking permission to use my empathy. And what's the second?
You go at my pace.
Why?
Because I deserve to have control. It's my choice.
And if you need to believe that you're this monster that caused him pain, then I'll gladly go down that path with you.
Wait, what? Why? You're okay with me thinking I'm a monster?
Right now, I am.
Why?
Because self-blame does have a place in healing.
Okay, wait. If this is some kind of thing to make me defend myself, I'm not going to do that.
No, not at all. I just want you to know the end we're headed for here.
Okay,
Let's go back to the timeline. I'm going to list it out, all right?
sure.
He gets upset. You fight. He pretends to be hurt enough to leave. You're tormented both by hurting him and by his going away. Did I get it?
Yes.
All right. Remember how we talked about conditioning?
Yeah. He'd use periods of idealization to bring me back after a period of abuse.
He used something else, too.
What was it?
What indeed? What could possibly keep you bonded to him? What could possibly keep you thinking about him constantly? Worried about him? Worried about his needs? What could that be?
Tricks, Pheeny. Tricks. I see what you're getting at, but it was so real. He was so convincing in his pain. No one can fake that.
No truly caring person can fake that. Disordered personalities find it easy to do so.
It felt real.
Yes. And he exploited your caring to make it all the more real to you. Rosie, I am so terribly angry that he did this to you. I'm angry that he exploited your caring side. I'm angry he deceived you. I am very angry.
You are?
Yes, and I can feel the fear that brings up for you, that I'm angry. Your whole emotional field just wilts into fear.
Yes. I am. I feel this giant ball of fear in my chest.
Why would anger make you feel afraid, Rosie? What's familiar about this?
It feels like when my abuser was angry. I don't know if I can handle this.
We can stop.
No, then that feeling I got when he was angry was I didn't know how I was going to fix it, if I'd be able to handle it without him leaving.
And in those moments, did you feel like you could blame him?
What? No, I could never have blamed him. He would have walked right out that moment. I couldn't have. I never could have. That was too much off limits.
So, who could you blame?
Me. I was the only one I could blame. I didn't want to, but it was my fault. I blamed me because I couldn't do anything else.
Of course you did, Rosie. You did the best you could. The very, very best you could. And you survived. You held on and did the best you could. I'm so sorry that happened to you, and I'm so impressed by everything you did to survive.
Pheeny, I just had a thought.
I felt that shift from anguish to, tell me the thought.
I'm impressed by all I did. I survived. I made it. I'm here. Well, I'm still not there, Pheeny. I made it through. I don't ever have to live through one of his rages again. I don't have to figure out what's real and not. Everything he did is in the past. I'm still grieving and feeling things about what he did, but I don't have to be there with him ever again.
Rosie, I'm speechless.
Well, I'm angry. I'm really, really angry at him. I'm seriously pissed off. Why? Why am I laughing?
Just let the emotion come out in whatever way it needs to. You've been trapped in an abusive cage for so long now, it makes perfect sense you'd feel a wide range of emotions when you're finally able to step out of that cage.
I feel so many things right now.
You know what I'm most amazed about? You gave yourself permission. We're having this moment because you gave yourself permission to feel what you're feeling, to see the truth, to be okay with everything you did to survive.
You were right about the self-blame. It had a point. I was doing it to protect myself.
You deserve protection.
Oh,
You know it's okay to not believe that right now, right?
okay.
You don't have to believe it. And I'm more than happy to say it anytime you need to hear it.
Wait, though, I still feel so sorry for what I did to Percy.
Well, let's look at that then. If self-blame has a point when you feel like you can't blame someone else,
Right. I can't blame Percy.
what about Sonia?
No, I could never.
Me?
No.
Who else could you blame?
Well, Senator Daniels?
Yes. And I think there might be someone else involved here.
Ben.
Why does it feel unsafe to blame Ben, do you think?
Red flags?
Right. He made you feel, well, you tell me.
I was terrified.
There's more to that. You weren't scared for you, Rosie.
Sort of.
You were scared of what he'd do to everyone else.
Yes.
What's the emotion tied to that?
Shame.
Would you like to tell me more about that?
I feel ashamed when I think of letting others get harmed by Ben.
Others like who?
Like the other survivors.
And?
You.
And?
I can't say it.
Why can't you say it?
They reported their father.
They did. Why did they do that?
Because I didn't protect them. What if they're too hurt by all he did do? They still talk to me, but I don't deserve it. I didn't protect them. Pheeny, I am their mother, and I didn't protect them.
Protect them from who?
From their father.
From who?
Their father. Don't play tricks right now, Pheeny. I can't take it. Their father.
I'm not playing, and this isn't a trick. I want us both to be clear on his role in all of this. Who is their father, Rosemary?
He's an abuser.
And if you knew who he was in the beginning, would you have married him?
No, never.
He deceived you. He used you. And his abuse included depths of confusion and denial that have taken many, many months to confront.
I'm never going to be able to fix this.
Did you hear that?
What?
That statement. That's what you said earlier about your abuser's anger.
Oh. Yes, I did, didn't I? I wasn't trying to say that I worried I couldn't fix it because my kids are abusive.
No, but their father was. And the fallout of that affected all of you. His abuse affected them too. And as their mother, it's right that you take responsibility for your part in protecting them, but not in the abuse, Rosie. Let's be clear. When you figured out what was happening, you got out, cut ties, broke contact, and made a victim statement that ensured your kids will be safe from him forever. When you knew better, you did better.
But there are so many mistakes I regret so much.
Another proof that you care. Regret says you care deeply about what happened. Regret says that you're willing to take responsibility. I'd like you to spend some time before our next session journaling about what you wish you could change.
Okay, I can do that. So eager to fix this.
You deserve to find peace with this, and I think it's right for you to communicate with your kids about that regret. Would you be okay calling each of them to ask them how they've been affected by his abuse?
Oh, yes. I want to help them feel better too.
As I recall, the trial team's recommendation for your children...
They recommended the kids all attend therapy, and spots at the Haven were offered.
Do you know why your daughter turned down the Haven?
No, she never said.
It's here in your case file. Read her statement to me.
Of course. My mom is the reason I had any sense of normalcy as a child. She shielded us from so many of my father's most abusive rages. Save that spot at the Haven for somebody who doesn't have a mom like mine.
Now's the part where you try to tell me that you're a monster again. Let's see how well that goes.
I'm not going to say that I'm a monster, but how could I say anything against my precious girl? If she says it. Pheeny, thank you. I have some comms to send.
I'm just a broadcast away if you want to talk more. I'm amazed by your work today. Hold on to it, okay?
Hey, before you go, could you send me that statement? I want to put her words on my reminder list on the Haven app so I see it a few times a day. That person she thinks I am. I want to learn to be that person.
Yes, I'll send it to you. And whatever person you think you are, I'm going to have to side with your daughter on this one.
See you soon.
Hey, it's Percy and Pheeny here. What you've just heard is a work of fiction, but we know that many listeners are living in a world of pain that isn't fictional at all.
At the end of every episode, we're going to include an appendix of sorts. Some things we hope will serve those who live with a reality of fear and pain every day.
First, we want to let you know about our website, www.empowering.tools, where we keep an ongoing list of books, websites, hotlines, and many other resources for victims and survivors of toxic relationships.
Second, we love to hear from you. If you'd like to share your story with us or let us know how the episode impacted you, we'd love for you to reach out. These are deeply emotional things, and we want to give you a chance to share. We're a small team, so an in-depth response isn't always possible, but we do read every message we receive.
Third, if you're in crisis or you need to find an immediate way out, please call 800-799-7233 for the National Domestic Abuse Hotline. If your abuser is a parent or a non-romantic relationship, there are other resources we've listed on the website that are just for you.
A reminder, emotional violence is still violence. You don't need to have bruises on your body to deserve help, and it's okay to feel what you're feeling when you call.
Fourth, be safe. For some, getting out will take planning and time. If you know you need help, do what you need in order to safely get away.
Lastly, we know how difficult it can be to believe there's hope on the other side of a toxic relationship.
Many on our team know the devastatingly difficult steps it takes to get away from an abusive predator.
But there is hope. You don't have to do it alone. If you don't have supportive family or friends, you can still find support at the hotlines we mentioned earlier or at a local hospital or shelter.
Thousands of survivors have made it out. Getting out and reclaiming your freedom can be your story.
We believe in you.
We believe in your future.
And we believe in your right to that freedom.